Sir Eric Banyon, the Queen's Knight, known as Silver Flute wherever soldiers of fortune gathered together, strode manfully through the thronging crowd, determined to leave the memory of his disgrace at the hands of the foul Frenchman Black Lavoisier behind him, as surely as he had left the dastardly minions of his great enemy in his dust. Eric dodged around a bicycle messenger just dismounting on the sidewalk, then grinned, startling the bike messenger into an answering smile. Banyon, my lad, you ought to go in for writing hysterical historicals in your off hours. He actually was striding, though not exactly manfully, through the noontime crowd, heading for the subway and home. His classes at Juilliard were over for the day, and no rehearsals, for once, were scheduled for this afternoon. He could practice as well, or better, at home than in one of the practice rooms anyway. And he was determined not to sour a perfectly good day with the memory of one jealous teacher trying to make a fool out of him in front of the entire class. Well, all right, maybe not the entire class, just most of it. And anyway, Lavoisier hadn't succeeded, though he'd certainly done his best. Missing his midterm last winter, he'd been off saving the world, necessary though it had been, had given Professor Rector the chance he had been hoping for all term. He'd failed Eric, banishing him from Introduction to Music Theory with unprofessional glee. Fortunately, Eric's work in his other classes and in ensemble had been good enough that he had been given the opportunity to make up the lost music theory credit during summer term, and he had taken the chance to add a few more courses in order to lighten next fall's course load. Still, this hadn't quite been the way he'd envisioned spending his July and August, which was out on Fire Island with a pitcher of virgin margaritas by his side. And Lavoisier made Ethan Rector look like a prince of transpersonal fairness by comparison. Parisians. Paris would be such a lovely place without all the Parisians in it, Eric thought grumpily. And the man had certainly been on form today, baiting Eric unmercifully in hopes he'd lose his temper. Once he'd lost it, the professor would have taken him apart in a cool and scientific dissection rendered without benefit of anesthetic. Lavoisier had begun with sarcastic comments about Eric's depth of experience on the Ren Fair circuit. Why did they always obsess about that? It couldn't be jealousy. Not exactly a concert hall environment, as the professor had repeatedly pointed out.